Hi, ladies and gentlemen, it's your brother Bolo VNR, and it's never too late to highlight a situation like this because you know when it comes to police brutality, police misconduct in Jamaica, it's a theme that has never truly been properly addressed by either administration, and I can say that definitively. Whether you want to say that police brutality happens under either administration or one more than the other. Yeah, it has not been addressed properly, and I think we're at a crossroads in our culture right now where I don't think the people are willing to accept any more of this. So I want to shout out Andre Stevenson. Let's listen to this story real quick, ladies and gentlemen, um, of Althea Long. My reaction to it. Let's get it.
For her to speak on what really happened with her son. Only know you about it. Judge schools cop for jailing man over disrespect. State hit with a $3.7 million bill. Yes, Jamaica. You heard that, Jamaica? So the mother decides that, Andre, I am not going to be silent anymore. I want to talk. So I sent her the link just now. I sent her the link just now. So that, but these incidents are happening too often in the country. These incidents. Hello, good night. Not hearing them.
I think this is her coming on now. Yeah, this is her coming on now, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So make we hear this now.
Good night, Miss Lane.
Good night, Andre. How are you?
I'm well. Do you want to tell Jamaica who you are, or you prefer to just keep it as it is?
No, I'll tell Jamaica who I am because the fact is that I'm a mother who had to fight for my son to be vindicated. And those who read the paper yesterday must have seen the entire headline power trip. And that is what my son was subjected to.
Mm.
Mm.
So Jamaica, this is the renowned model and speech and etiquette coordinator, Miss Althea Laing. If you know who Miss Althea Laing is, go and do your research. People would have said Miss Althea Laing is more of a privileged Jamaican. But despite being a privileged Jamaican, her son. Tell us, Miss Ling,
Ah,
what's going on with your son?
All right. Son, do you want to speak or you want mommy to? My son
oh,
wants to speak,
yeah, cool.
Andre.
Let him
Yeah,
speak.
go ahead.
Yeah, pleasant good evening. My name is Renoir Reynolds Hassan. Um, as many might have read yesterday with the issue with me and the police force in 2012.
Mm.
That whole experience for me was one that kind of shed light on the lack of discipline amongst those who say they're um you know how do you say, supposed to be figures who are kind of helping to carry out the law and certain things. They lack certain principles, and that whole dilemma, it kind of showed up how people, they're easy to jump to conclusions and make the assumptions and profile people, which is something that is like a black and black issue that has been existing and is still existing, and it's kind of a mental conditioning because people feel as if if you look a certain way, carry yourself a certain way, and you don't even have to be carrying yourself um a certain way. You just they just create a narrative about you in their head, and then carry out certain impulsive actions that lead to things like this.
So what really happened with you and the police officer?
All right. In summary, I was in a Mandible market, right, about on the 6th of October, right, between hours of 12 and 2. Me and my friend we were conversing, and we are just looking out, and there was a service vehicle that was parked in the vicinity, right? And we just talking and looking, and the officer said, "Oh, I looked at the service vehicle, and then I looked away, and then it aroused his suspicion, So at that point, he decided to approach me, the, requested a search or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
I threw my bag on the ground, kind of showing him that I didn't have anything to hide. You can go and search, no contraband, no weapon, nothing like that. And I guess he was kind of disgruntled at the fact that he never found anything. So um charge me for it. So he's going to create an issue, And then at that point, he kind of put him on my face, like kind of box me in my face, and then I wanted to retaliate, but I control myself because at the end of the day, you know how it is. If you hit them, you might get shot or you might get beaten or something. So I
Yeah.
kind of restrained myself, and at that point, all the other officers, they came down, and then he handcuffed me, put the wrist on the right, my handcuff on my right wrist, and then kind of he squeezed it to an extent, and then brought me to the vehicle and put on the other cuff on my left hand, and he told me to jump up on the back of the truck. And in doing that now, on the tail of the truck, the handcuff tightened on my wrist, so it started to bleed and everything. And long story short, him carry me to the hospital. See the severity of the situation. One of the officers recognized my mother and said, "Oh, Miss Lang, we never know say your son." And she said, "No, well, that doesn't matter. Go and book him because the fact of the matter is, carry out and cause a problem already. So carry him to the
Oh,
station, and then process me and all of that stuff.
like Althea song now, them I say,
Sorry,
Yeah,
them have to sorry
yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's exactly what happened.
mm-hmm.
because of who your mother was at the time, and they would have realized it just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So basically, if your mother wasn't Althea Laing,
Hmm.
God knows what would have happened to you.
Exactly, because them, initially they look at your profile like, say, you're some little dirty boy or whatever the case might be, and then they find out who you're connected to now or whatever the case might be, and it everybody shook all of a sudden now, and then Indicom gave us the green light. Yeah, hold on, Mrs. Lang would like to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we went to court.
So before Miss Ling goes ahead, you see, more the labor right them, we are listen. Come on now, listen. I want you guys to take sleep and mark that. You see how long we've been telling you that on supporting this government and the wrong things that them doing, and because you don't feel like say, yeah, we are labor rights, so none of the things them that people are complaining about will reach your doorstep. This lady is an established figure, and it reached her doorstep. Ever hear they say can't catch Kwache catching shot? Well, it catch her shot, and she was not even in the wrong. She just live at Jamaica. She just a one Jamaican. So I want that to go through the thick skull them or the labor right them. Say not because you're labor right. You see the hospital system, all of the foolish system we are going in a healthcare, it is going to reach you. You see the brutality where the police them are going with on the road, some of them, it is going to reach you. Continue to support the madness that this government is behind and see if it's not going to reach you. I just want to remind you, that it is going to reach you. It's not a if now but now maybe. So if you make the mistake and go talk about you not give this a government a third term, don't ball to nobody when it reach you. No. Period. I just wanted to say that. Right? Some of them police, them need to go back at training. Literally. Them need to go back at training. Because you know something? If they didn't have the authority that they had, and they didn't have a gun on them or a weapon on them, and it was just mano a mano, knuckle to knuckle, body to body, enough of them are coward. They would have shiver. When box the youth for? When box the youth for? Why did he box the youth? See, and this is where restraint comes in, Because I'm not going to tell you, listen, I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to have the same restraint that he has in that situation. I hope to God I do. But I might have a bad day. I might have a bad day and I might have reflexes in abuse where you put your hand in my face and me I go do the same. You understand? And unfortunately, because they have a gun and because they have the system, right? Them protected when them do wrongs. And them can analyze you and talk about say him did have one gun on him and oh him try to attack me with one knife. And if you don't say a lie we are tell, when you just go look back, as a matter of fact. Remember find the video remember go and play this in the meantime. And let me find the video with we load some show some clips. May I find it? Hold on. Let's continue.
For 7 times and the police didn't show up and it was thrown out, and I proceeded to go to Indicom. And when I went to Indicom investigated for 2 years, and then they came back and said we were to file a civil suit. It took us like 5 years before we got a date in the courts. And then before that, they tried mediation, trying to offer my son $100,000, which he refused. And he said, yes.
Miss Laing, the
So-
government was trying to offer you that?
The attorney representing the police. And so I said, oh no.
Let me address this person in the chat. Sandra Wanson said, bro, do the party in power control what the police do in the line of duty? You see, this is what you call making excuses for the government that has ultimate power. 1, the government can make legislations to tamper down the police. And that's a fact. That is a fact. There's many things that the government can do to tamper down the police from unaliving our citizens. One of the things they can do is not come out and say, shoot to kill. One of the things they can do is not make statements like, meet your judge or meet your maker. One of the things they can do is not come on a public platform and talk about, we're using the SOEs expertly, right, to catch criminals that hide behind being a citizen of the country, knowing that although they're criminals, they are a citizen of the country. I hope that answers your question, you know. Don't come ask no more foolishness. Like you want to absolve the government, right? Well, sir, make sure you frame a question better. Because that question they piss me off. The government has a responsibility. Why do you think them have a ministry of security? Why do you think them have a ministry of health? Why do you think them have a minister of justice? Why do you think them have a minister? Why do you think them have that? And let me play the clip. Let me play the clip of Andrew Ones saying that the SOEs are expertly used. JRS website. Let me play it. I had that clip on my, you know what? I had that clip on my Audible, you know, and I don't know what happened to the Audible. I had it on my Audible, and I can't find it. That clip should be on my soundboard right now. It's one of the clips that I had put on my soundboard when he said it. You understand? So I don't know what happened to it. I don't know how it got deleted. I'm kind of pissed off. You see me? I'm kind of pissed off, me not gonna lie. It's supposed to be here, so.
It's bigging up the man them. However, today, my job is to remind you that the Jamaica Labour Party has a...
God know this have a
Frederick Douglass.
Can't find it on the soundboard, but I can find it on JRS. Alright? With this keynote, here we go. 54-minute mark. Last time we go up on the see that? Now listen to the Prime Minister. Listen to the Prime Minister and how he thinks of people that are considered criminals. It's like they are not a citizen of the country, according to him. You know, say your question make it seem like you're a supporter of the JLP. That's how your question make it sound like. Something is happening under the JLP. And as a matter of fact, if you go back and listen to my whole argument here, I never once make it seem like it only happens under the JLP. So you're a JLP undercover, brother. And you try to defend them. But listen to this. Because you expose yourself.
We need a global consensus that will create a global war on gangs, that will treat with them in the same way that international effort was mobilized in creating standardized legislation across jurisdictions, dealing with finances of gangs, but coordinating how exceptional and emergency powers are used to deal with these criminals who hide under the protection of being citizens of a country.
The man said verbatim how these SOEs are expertly used to deal with these criminals that hide behind the protection of being citizens of the country. You guys don't find anything wrong with a statement like that coming from the chief of the country? The man is telling you that the criminals are not citizens. But according to the Constitution, they too have the right to life. So when you, as the Prime Minister, is uttering these words, you are encouraging. I've never heard PJ Patterson say nothing like that. I've never heard Mark Golding say anything like that. I've never heard Mama P say nothing like that. These types of utterances, Sandra Wanson, always come from the JLP, and that's a fact. And I'm telling you, this is compounding the situation why we having an issue in our country with the police unaliving our youth in the streets. Almost 100 youth have been unalived by the police since the year have started. And last year, July, there wasn't 100 person that was unalived by the police. And it goes to the point of this situation with Althea Long's son. That this situation is being exacerbated, right, by this administration. They are encouraging more conflict between police and citizens. Because if you are backing the police in their actions and not coming out publicly condemning the unaliving of citizens, whether they are criminals or not, they have the right to due process. Do you believe that everybody that the police has unalived had a gun on them? Do you believe that everybody that was unalived by the police was in conflict with the police to some extent, and they were not cooperating with them? So it means that they should die then, right? It means that they should be shot and unalived. Is that what you're saying, Sandra Wanson? Huh? And coming to tell me about it's been happening before we born. Not to this extent, sir. And there's a certain political party that is happening more under than the other. And that's a fact. The JLP they are the father of this type of situation. Look at Carl Garden incident. When the chief said, carry in the Rastaman them dead or alive. Do we really want to go down this road? Do we really want to bring up the history of all the human rights violations that this political party, the JLP, has been the center of over the years. No, I don't think you really want to go down this road. So just chill and let me continue with what Miss Laing is saying and her experience. Don't trigger me. Next time, I'm just going to block you. Let's continue.
Yes, Andre, $100,000. So anyway, yeah.
Miss Ling, the
So
government was trying to offer you that?
they tried mediation, trying to offer my son $100,000, which he refused, and we
100,000.
said yes.
Miss Ling, the
So
government was trying to offer you that?
the attorney representing the police, and so I said, oh no, yes, Andre, $100,000. So anyway, so anyway, I said, let's go to the Supreme Court. Let's go all the way with it, right? And we went to see Sean Kinghorn of Kinghorn and Kinghorn, and we proceeded with the case. So it took us another few years to even get a date to go to the Supreme Court. We went to the first hearing. Then last November, now we went to the actual court with the judge and everybody was in court. And then at that time, we were told that they would get back in touch in respect of what formal order. I don't understand the terminology. Isaac would know. And then following that, now this year, November, via Zoom, they advised us that my son had been victorious. But the reason, Andre, why I went all the way, I have seen just too many young men in Jamaica profiled, and because they don't have a platform on which to speak, and it is thrown out of court, and then mommy just go home with them and say, thank God they don't get no criminal record, right? But my child is also an American citizen. Do you understand me? Okay, he's an American.
And another thing, and when does they get extradited? Now under JLP, I digress. Anyway, the fact that her son is a American citizen, this case is very more interesting. Listen to what she's gonna say here.
Citizen, and I born in the USA, and I went to the embassy. I reported the matter to the American embassy. Now it's over. I'm gonna go back to the embassy and let them know what was the outcome, because just too many of our young men are profiled, they get some criminal record, and it is just so hard for them in this society. You know, you wear you have on your hat and your pants, your shorts and whatever. Immediately you're a criminal. Nobody, not everybody can wear
Profile for white t-shirt.
you get profiled for a white t-shirt and a shorts. You know? So really and truly, it is a situation. When I saw it in the Gleaner yesterday, I never expected it to be there. But I said, okay, God, yes, thank you. You must know why you are doing this, because I am willing to stand up. My son is willing to go out and speak to young men and be a part of the process, because it is for real. And they harassed him. That 8 years in Mandeville, they harassed that child every time he was on the street, them stopping him. They are very vindictive also.
So not only did the police, according to the situation, that it went to court and the guy won, not only did the police do what they did in the moment, but even while the young man was carrying them to court, he was being harassed by the police. You see why nobody don't want to give a statement at Jamaica? Because we don't trust the police. Nobody wants to give any statement in Jamaica. Because next thing you're going to get a statement, then they say, crime stop. Next thing you're going to get a statement, the same police them, go to feed them people them, where a bad man and go tell them, say, I him, a snitch for you. And next thing them come, because when you write the report, your address supposed to be in the book, right? Next thing you know, gunman come pull up on your yard and kill you because you're a witness. Do you guys trust the judicial system in Jamaica? Do you guys trust the police in Jamaica? Do you guys feel like you could be under witness protection for a serious crime in Jamaica and not be severely compromised? I'm just asking. Mighty God, let's continue. Let's continue. Lord have mercy.
Mrs. Well, Miss Laing, do you know if that
Yes.
that officer is still on active duty?
Yes, he was transferred to, no, me not talk when transferred to. He was transferred to another police station, right? He was taken from the Mandeville, but he's a special constable, but he was behaving as if he was the superintendent of police that day. Okay?
He's a
And
short
then
man.
when the judge, yes, Andre?
He is a short man.
Yes, short. How you know? Short, very short. Short man itis. And then what happened with the whole situation is that he was so when I saw him when he came into court, he was so boisterous. Even the judge had to say, "Calm down. You know, you can't behave like that here." He didn't know what reasonable doubt is. He said, if you look in the article yesterday, he said that he does not know what reasonable suspicion means and all of that. So what needs to happen?
What? What you say a while ago? Father God, take your wheel. Take your wheel, Father God.
Embarrassing. He needs some milk. Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
I believe, at the training school level is that they need to do a serious course in customer service, communication, conflict resolution. They're churning them out. They're churning them out like McDonald's and KFC rather than having them within that framework and really training them, sensitizing them to the people within our community so they know how to respond to us. It's not a case of shoot and judge and whatever them saying these days. You know, there must be another way that we can deal with this on a community level and really make a difference in the lives of the young boys. I am a mother who felt it. I had sleepless nights for the last 13 years. And every time my son goes out, I am afraid.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you actually sat down and talked with missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ?
No, ladies and gentlemen, we can tell you, say, nothing has ever happened to me personally. But you see, my mother is the type of person that when she sees the news and she hears sons and daughters of this nation affected in this type of way, she immediately feels like it's their child and she starts to worry about me and my other siblings. That's why I always ask my mother to stop watching the news. Because she really takes it on. She becomes inundated. Her emotions, everything. Is like she living the trauma of that mother. She's living the trauma of that father, that brother, that sister. So when I go on the road, it's the same thing. What this lady just expressed is the same thing. My mother wouldn't mind me not go on the road ever, but me can't live my life like that. Can't live my life like that, brother. You understand what I deal with? So this is why I am on this platform and I'm fighting in my way for us to recognize that we all have a role to play in establishing freedom. We always have to fight for freedom because there's always a dictator lurking. And in this case, the dictator is Andrew Onis and the Jamaica Labour Party administration. They want to operate in such a way. Thank you for the gifts, Wiz. They want to operate in such a way that we should cower down and bow down and not speak. If Andrew Onis had his way, our channels would be shut down. All of us. Every single one of us. We know some channel would have shut down. Andre channel would have shut down. If he had his way and he could control the internet, it would be over. Nationwide would be the only program on YouTube. Alright? It would be the only one. You would be fed narrative, back a narrative, and cover up, back a cover up. That's what would happen. I'm telling you. Alright? So, yeah. Just thank God for the free press. And any government that wants to fight the free press, understand, they are not your friend. They are an enemy of the people. And that's facts. Any government that you see wants to fight the free press, they are an enemy of the people. Please learn this. History has taught us this many, many times. You hear? Let's continue.
That he might not come back.
Wow.
The last 13 years.
My
And every
God.
time my son goes out, I am afraid that he might not come back.
Wow.
I lived a nightmare. And yes, they might have said $3.7 million is nothing compared to what I think my child should have received by law. But the truth, but the truth is that I proved a point. I stood up with my child to the end. And mothers don't need to fear. They don't need to be afraid. Maria Dean's mother, I reach out to her tonight to say that continue doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you have to just stand up and fight for the rights of your child.
Oh, so you're standing with Maria Dean's mom?
Yes, I'm prepared to stand with her.
The Maria Dean's case is so...
I appreciate that.
It's a toxic case in the court, you know.
There is a
When we
notion.
look,
There is a
when we
notion.
even look at the young man Clacking, that guy in Junction who was killed by the security guard and stuff, you know, although he had a mental case, they say, but he is somebody's child. And if we have a country who don't realize the importance, our young men are, I think the species now, any minute now, endangered species.
That's a
And it is,
It's true.
yeah, they are an endangered species. So we as citizens and we need to understand that the country and the Minister of Social Security and all of these wonderful people who say they're a force for good, it's no longer a force for good.
It's true. I can share something with you, Miss Laing. Every day when I'm out on the street, if I'm stopped by a police officer and I choose not to declare who I am met with grave hostility.
And yes,
every day.
This is very...
They have stopped us, you know. They have stopped the car, and because of the experience, and they come to my car. I am there. My son is in there. They're telling my son to step out of the car, and I said, "Don't go into your bag for any ID. Let me take it out and give it to them." And at one point, I had to come out of my car and stand between the police and my son. And I said to the police, and the police said to me, "Hey, woman, move." I said, "You're not going to talk to me like that today. You're not going to talk to me like that."
What did you say? Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Emotional damage.
Something not right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right. Tell about them.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out.
My phone and I was there.
Yeah, so you said the police look at you and say, "Hey, woman."
Yeah, hey, woman, move out of the way. And the gun is pointed on my son.
What?
And I took up the phone and I pretended that I was talking to a friend of mine who is in high authority. And when they heard me call the name, then they said, "Okay, let me see your driver's license." And then they said, "Okay, we can go." And I actually said to him, I could have had that gun. Parts. And then they say, "Okay, let me see your driver's license." And then they said, "Okay, we can go." And I actually said to him, I could have had that gun, a gun or something in my private parts. That's what I said to him that morning. You behaving like that? Why are you accosting my child? I could be the person who have whatever it is, any kind of contraband in my private parts. And I mean, he was quite shocked when I said it, but I said it because, I mean, that is the reality. You turn on the young man. I am in there. You don't ask me to search me, but you're ready to draw a gun and stand up and come out of the car and say, "Sir, yeah."
He discharged his weapon,
No, he had the gun, the long old gun, what they walk up and down with. Brandish
pointing,
the rifle
pointing, pointing at
at my child.
You walk up to the car window. Many other occasions as well, but you know.
I can tell you, they are not trained like that. I can tell you.
You every minute here talk about them not trained like that. Me can't see 3/4 of the training when them claim so that they were
Ishmael, you see, that comment is an untimely comment. It's as if you're disregarding the experience of the lady. That's just my observation. Sometimes it better with us listen. That's not the comment to happen right there, bro. You understand? Because it's obvious that whether they're being trained properly or not, the training show about me, general. You can count the good police them there in Jamaica. You can count. It's not a lot of them. It seems, it appears. Especially in certain areas of Jamaica. Let me say that too. It come like say, certain areas of Jamaica, them police they get trained different. They train to be hostile. They don't train to talk to the people them properly and deal with them good. When it come out so like maybe in the tourist area them, Splash DJ big up. When it come out so like in the tourist area them, the police them probably look a bit different in the daytime. Them probably, you know what I mean? Yeah, because it's a tourist area. Zine, but you see in a certain area, the police them deal with the people them like them an animal, bro. Them don't deal with the people them good, brother. All when the people them not do nothing, bro. Them don't deal with the people them good. You see, this profiling thing is a very, very serious thing. It's a very, very serious thing, bro. Trust me. Yes, stay in the lane or else. Not true, Yankee. I'm a general, Ishmael, I'm a G, but Ishmael. Bro, not do that, bro. Not do that, bro. There is a disconnect with the police them in a then training and when they actually reach for the job. And on the need to do some investigation, or the government need to do some investigation and find out what is the disconnect. Because we keep hearing about this wonderful training. But then you have an audio like this coming from the government. Listen to this audio. Alright, listen to this. Listen to this. I'm gonna find it. Oh, wait there. Yeah, right, that's all.
Either meet a judge or meet your maker. Our prisons and police lockups are fully populated. I do not train my police to lose. We have the superior training and firepower to ensure that we win every time.
Wherever they go, we'll find them and we'll bring them in, one way or the other. Whether we bring them in the pickup that come behind us in the car, I don't want to come on a stretcher, it's their business. I don't promise that, right? But we'll find them and bring them in.
Either meet a judge or meet your maker.
You know that they're talking about human beings, right? When you heard them talk there, so the prison them full up. We don't have enough space. One say meet a judge or meet a maker. One say the pickup coming behind can pick them up. You no business either way. Let me play it again. Not my word.
Either meet a judge or meet your maker. Our prisons and police lockups are fully populated. I do not train my police to lose.
Police commissioner say prison them populated and in do not training police them to lose. Right? So the new thing in the report them is not that them find the man them with gun upon them, you know. There was a confrontation with the police and they were shot. A confrontation, you know, people. Confrontation. If the police is violating your constitutional rights, you should comply. If the police is beating you with a stick in your head, you should comply. That is what this government is telling the people of Jamaica. Like the police them doing the wrong things. All we are saying, we need the body cam them, an argument done. We need a system in place for the body cam them work. When as soon as the man them come on the job, body cam for on straight through. At no point in time a body cam not for off. That's what we need. Argument done. Because we will not trust the police. We can't trust them 100%. There's no way. Thank you for the gifts, Black Welsh. There's no way we can trust them. Given the history and everything that has happened. And you don't wait till stuff like that happen to you for you to be concerned. And that is my issue with 90% of the Jamaican people. You guys always wait until these things reach your doorstep before you care or give a damn. But I think I think Isaac said something that is noteworthy to hear. So let me continue with the audio.
That's what I'm telling you.
Them train like them they and fight war in the Middle East. And what do you have every day you come out, they are not trained like that. Stop it, man, Ishmael. Stop it. Because even if they're not trained like that, that is not what they're carrying out.
Right, and I would love to be offered to be given the opportunity to sit with the commissioner of police as a mother and explain what it is that I went through over the last 13 years. And I still have to be so careful because this is the way it is. And I feel like I'm in Beirut, or you feel like you are in North America, where black boys are an endangered species, which is one of the reasons why, okay, fine, he came home, he likes being in Jamaica, he grew up here, he went to school in the US, but you are run from America situation and you come buck it up here, so?
I bet you send him back overseas, come. Now make my people go through this. You don't want to go. Mighty God.
There is a sense of power.
She said something, you know. You said that you'd want to meet with the commissioner of police.
Yes, I would.
If you were to meet with him tonight or today, what would you say to the present commissioner of police?
I would really outline my personal experience, what has transpired, and I am in training and development, and I would offer my services. I remember when Mrs. Bent, Superintendent Bent, was in, she brought me in to train the trainees in terms of customer service, personal development. We did conflict resolution, we did role play, and it was an excellent exercise.
Hold on the adverts, people. Adverts. You hear what she said? The lady said she is more than willing to have a sit down with the police commissioner. I think it's a great idea. Will they accept the invite? I doubt it. The police, they need to be desensitized. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny, guys? Them only tough in our Jamaican streets. If you was to put them in a real war situation down at Gaza and one of them places there, they piss up themselves. Enough of them. Them are just bully, fake, regular civilian. Make them go in a real combat situation and see what go on. Something they say, so I must fight for 8 hours for these sort of interaction with these idiots. Well, unfortunately, the reaction ain't gonna be a walk in the park, respectfully. Yankee bless, speak up. This idiot in the comment section, I hope I meet them and talk to us, say, you live in a Jamaica, go look at work, drunk. No, a lot of people is misguided when they come on my platform, and they believe because I can speak properly, that means I'm Jamaican. And if he's talking to Althea Long, that would make no sense. So I'm gonna take it that he was talking about me, not going to call the name and give him no promotion. We can't go to him. So go look at work. I've never been a criminal. I've always been hardworking. I've always been a law-abiding citizen of Jamaica. I have a lot of police friends, and they will tell you that these things that I'm speaking of is a reality in the force. What they won't do is go out publicly and speak about it. This is a real issue in Jamaica, you know. The police, them know what we are saying true, you know. Them know. But they mind them business, do them work, and move right along. And this is the culture of Jamaica. So now, the cancer, which is corruption in Jamaica, has become so huge. It's taking over the entire body because of that same attitude. It not affect me, man. Sure. Give it alone, you know. And then you see when it reach them doorstep, them same one want to take matters in them own hands. And so crime never stops, ladies and gentlemen. To fix a problem, you have to go to the root. And unfortunately, when it comes to crime in Jamaica, we have either refused to go to the root, or the persons that were qualified to go to the root, we did not use them. Like SSP Renita Adams, that was supposed to be our minister, not our minister, our commissioner of police years ago. And certain individuals in high places said, no, sir, not going to work. England and them people say, not going to work. You remember when SSP Adams did come out and said that from our interview? Say it came from high up that SSP Adams cannot be. I think even in America there was some influence for him not to get the job as well. Because you see, SSP would have crippled a lot of corruption that was going, deep-rooted corruption that was going on in Jamaica with politicians and criminals. So them know say him not have no respect for no criminal, you know. No matter how big the criminal is. Could have been a parliamentarian. Him no business. Him going to come for you. As long as him have the evidence. You go get locked up. So if you save themselves the embarrassment and also a loss of money and even their freedom, SSP Renita Adams was not given that position. You remember good. So let's continue, guys.
But I think they are turning them out too quickly, and they're not capturing the essence of the human spirit, which they need to take out into the communities as they work amongst our young men who are frustrated. Some of them don't have any jobs, all of this, and they need to take that human element into consideration and change the way. It is not a force for good, as they say. It is lovely and it sounds great, a force for good. Let us make it a force for good. As
Well,
citizens, let us feel that there's a change.
I don't know if this commissioner have on his agenda customer service or emotional intelligence. I think the only thing on his agenda right now is shoot and meet that maker. I don't know.
Instill fear.
I thought you have any word on this?
I just hope that good night all. I hope that people are listening to Miss Laing. But one other thing is so profound is that she still has to insulate her child in a nest, as grown as he is, because there is a disconnect, because this current government, and I say without apology, they don't respect the Constitution. The right to life is paramount, and they have decided that because due process is working in the judiciary, the judicial arm of government, they are slighted, and so they create narratives and they do media policing. So they go and they kill you and they say you're some gang member, whether it's the goat gang or the pig gang, because farmers raise goats and pigs, and they think young people shouldn't have all of this, and young people shouldn't be striving. They don't believe it.
Yes.
I can tell you this. In Jamaica, 2025, myself, if I am not in a suit, I am profiled until they realize who I am. Do not take
I believe you.
every time Ishmael says, if I don't declare who I am. And oftentimes they have no regret and no remorse. I have taken matters to the court and won, and the men have since been murdered. If you recall a case called Everton Douglas, Nicholas Heath was murdered after the first instance. His family was also one of his family member was murdered after the result of the Court of Appeal. Many other young men, I've never forgotten Andre Smith, who was murdered after he won his lawsuit against a police officer, was murdered after he was slated to leave Jamaica for the United States. So this is well documented. Amnesty International is well aware. Jamaicans for Justice is being criticized because they have asked the Commissioner of Police to really try to sensitize the police officers with this mask wearing and hiding of the identity of the officer as if they're a part of a gang.
People, wanna hear that? Neru, what's up? Patrick, big up. Wanna go on my General Brandon in the St. Andrew in a place. Wanna hear that? Not only is Isaac Buchanan profile when he's not in a suit. Until they recognize who he is, he's dealt with in a certain way. And people that he has, helped in court to win their cases against police. Some of them have been unalived afterwards. Mighty God. No, sir. April 21st, ladies and gentlemen. Portmore Breakthrough Ministries. Bolo 2025. Make it a date and don't be late. We have to reverse this curse and reverse this order. It's not a joke thing. Because this cancer is only going to grow even further if we don't have some divine intervention. You feel what I say? And we don't know how far the rabbit hole goes, That is exactly why we need God, because God sees all things and knows all things. So we are pray and ask God to remove these enemies of the people and of the state, both foreign and local. You understand? Yeah, because it's not normal, B. It's not normal. Tell me what you think about that in the comment section. I'm not really going no further. That reaction has gone on almost an hour now.